Exterior Home Solutions 2-minute drill as the Tennessee basketball team goes to East Lansing, Michigan for exhibition play. Full coverage of that from Grant Ramey. Thanks to our good friends at Exterior Home Solutions. If you're looking for something for your house, if you need roofing, siding, windows, garage, contact Exterior Home Solutions. They've been local and trusted since 1999. That's Exterior Home Solutions. Your roof, it's the most important protection against nature for your home or your business. That's why I trust the experts at Exterior Home Solutions. Volquest.com with Grant Ramey, who is in East Lansing, Michigan, where Tennessee kicked off the basketball season today, as crazy as that is, with exhibition play. First of all, Grant, what a fun atmosphere that was today. I mean, that felt like nothing like any exhibition game we've ever seen, as Tennessee does, by the way, get the win up there.
No, it's one thing to play Gonzaga in a G League gym in Frisco, Texas, last October in front of 2,500, 3,000, whatever it was. It's another thing to play in the Breslin Center, basically a capacity crowd on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, it felt like a true road game, a true road atmosphere that you'd feel in March, that you'd feel in February, that you'd feel at whatever point in the season. It felt nothing like an exhibition basketball game. And the way it came down the wire, it did, the adversity Tennessee faced after the fast start, huge experience for them to get this early in the season having started yet, to have in their pocket with this kind of experience on the road.
Okay, so Tennessee gets the win. They jump out to the big lead. They hold on to actually never lose the lead the entire game, which is crazy to think about. But for people who didn't watch it, they didn't count fouls, right? So you could foul as many times as you wanted. There were some unique things about it in an exhibition game, but it was a real basketball game against a real high quality caliber team. So what do we take away from Tennessee? Win aside, Grant, let's start first of all with maybe the returning players. What do you take away from what you saw today out of Tennessee's the first viewing of Tennessee, if you will, in a competitive situation?
They're tough. For them to get out 15, 17-1, whatever it was to start the game, to lead by 18 in the first half, to have it come down to 1 point 3 different times in the second half, to have it come down to an inbound loss with 1.9 or 5 seconds left to Michigan State hits a game tying three. For them to put up with all those different moments of, a lot of adversity on the road and to still not give up that lead. I mean, even when Michigan State still had inbound 5 seconds left, they hit the three to tie it. Tennessee has the wherewithal to come down the floor and make something happen and get fouled with 1.9 seconds. I mean, that's a huge response in that moment. The game doesn't count, whatever, but it's a huge response in that moment. Now they need more. Jordan Gainey and Dalton Connect, the two transfers, they did the heavy lifting today, and they'll need more from Josiah Jordan-James and Tobey Walker and Jonas Aidoo and Jemai Mashack. But Tennessee's also playing without Santiago Vespi, who's in Uruguay with his family. His grandmother's ailing right now. Zakai Ziegler was held out. He's still coming back from the ACL. So they'll need more from those returners. But for them to get what they got and to put up with the adversity they did and find a way to win a game like this, even an exhibition, whatever, it's a pretty big answer right now.
Well, it's going to be very obvious that Tennessee fans are going to fall in love with Dalton Connect very quickly here. Okay, with the performance he had, kind of his game. Were you surprised at him at all? I know he's scored everywhere he's been, but were you surprised at the way he played against that level of competition in that environment today?
Yeah, on this stage at this level, really for the first time. And what's crazy is Rick Barnes has hammered this guy since he got here about his defense. It's not good enough. He can't play. He gets blown by. I mean, he attacks him every single practice. And what he said to start his press conference tonight was he's never seen that good of defensive intensity and effort from Dalton on that end of the floor. Not to mention the 20 whatever points he had at the end of the game and the way he came up with big shot after big shot, and the huge transition dunk. I mean, this guy's a scorer. They've said it since he got here. I needed to see it myself in this kind of atmosphere, in this kind of stage. I need to see it consistently throughout the season still. But for him in his debut to do what he did, Jordan Gainey too. I mean, he didn't miss a shot from the field the first however many minutes. Started 5 for 5, 4 for 4 from the 3-point line. So for both of those guys in their debuts to come out and score the ball the way they did, huge.
Yeah, and this team's showing a lot of poise in this game, right? I mean, you had the moments where Michigan State's making a run, and you don't have Zakai Ziegler to settle you down. You
Right.
don't have Santiago Vescovi to settle you down. Your veterans. It's a collection of new guys who have been playing ball together. I know Freddie DeLeon's been here, but this is the first time they've been in that. I mean, to get in that environment, it has to be a huge lift for this team and for Rick Barnes to see the mental toughness that his team played. I know he's going to talk about rebounding. They got out rebounded in the second half and all those things, but to play with the mental fortitude that they played with a basically collection of new guys playing together speaks volumes about what they've got done in the preseason to this point to me.
It does. And Santi was first team All SEC in the preseason. Zakai was second team. Those were the only two guys that were voted All SEC. So the media thinks those are Tennessee's two best players, and they're two Tennessee ball handlers, the guys that are going to have the ball in their hand the most when they are on the floor. So to do that without those two guys, as good as they are, as much as they're going to have the ball in their hands. I mean, it got down to one with about 4 minutes left, and they're out of the timeout. It was like a just passing back and forth for about 15 seconds. And then Jemai Mashek somehow scored a layup. I mean, that's a huge moment right there where it looks like you don't have a lot going on offensively. It's down to 1 point. There's so many times in a college basketball season when you're on the road and you get out to a fast start and a big lead, and then there's a run and the arena comes to life and it just starts going downhill on you and you can't stop that momentum. And that happened a lot today for Tennessee, and they found a way each time. I think it got down to 1 3 times, and then it got tied there in the final 5 seconds. And every time it happened, Tennessee found a way to respond. And doing that at this point in the season, it doesn't mean much if you don't do something with it down the road, but it's a really, really good starting.
All right, my last question to you is this. Rick Barnes has got a bench full of guys who could play. I mean, a bunch of guys who played today, too, who didn't play. How does the management of this, how it's a great problem to have, don't get me wrong, but how the minutes going to play themselves out, particularly early in the year, trying to find different combinations. They can play feels like every style of basketball out there, Grant, right now, if they stay healthy.
Yeah, it's loaded with wings and guards on this roster. What they don't have enough of, in my opinion, is bigs. Jonas Adu and Tobe Awaka. They battled foul trouble, even though you can't foul out in this game if it's a normal game. It's a different story down the stretch with those two guys because they were battling foul trouble. They're going to need something behind them to kind of shore that up a little bit. You're not going to see a lot of Cade Phillips like you saw tonight. You're not going to see a lot of JP Estrella like you saw tonight. We didn't see DJ Jefferson tonight. He was suspended earlier in the month, so I don't know if that's tied to that or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of minutes to go around. There's a lot of guards. There's a lot of wings, and they can do it a lot of different ways. They can put Josiah at the 4. They can put Dalton at the 4 to play a little bit of small ball and help spell Jonas and Tobe if they are battling foul trouble or struggling, or if they just want to match up small ball. So they can go a lot of different ways. They can be 8, 9, 10 deep if they want to be. And this just feels like the start of it. And it's a really good, like Tom Izzo talked about it, and Rick too, coming into this thing, like you want to play as many guys as you can. You want to figure out what your rotation is and how the pieces fit together. But at the same time, it's an exhibition game. And when the juices get flowing, you want to win those games. So for them to find a way to win it and to play as many different guys as they did, Cade Phillips is out there guarding Malik Hall. Michigan State's all everything big man in October in front of a packed house in East Lansing. It's a pretty huge thing because they're going to have, like you said, they're deep and they got a lot of different combinations. And tonight was an interesting way to see how it kind of all mixed together.
Well, it'll be fun to see how this team develops moving forward. It's a quick turnaround. We got basketball more again this week. Grant's got full coverage of everything from East Lansing today at Volquest.com. We'll continue to talk about it on the Rocky Top Rewind, and we'll talk about this basketball team amongst some football talk and some fall baseball talk and a little recruiting talk as well. Lots of things going on at Volquest. Grant, appreciate it. Great coverage up there. We appreciate you, my man.